Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A fire in a vacant home on Detroit's east side causing serious damage to an elderly man's home next door. And now he and his family are left figuring out what to do. We're glad you're with us tonight. For Local 4 News at 6, I'm Devin Skillian.
Good evening. I'm Karen Drew in for Kimberly Gill tonight. The family tells Local 4 they have been trying to get that vacant home torn down for years, but now they have even more questions for the city.
Yeah. Damon Fernandez joins us now. City says it had approved demolition for the vacant house, right, Damon?
Yeah, Devin and Karen. I was out talking with that family when I learned the city approved fast-tracking demolition of that burned-out vacant home. Now, the 80-year-old neighbor and his daughters told me they're relieved right now, and it's about time that nuisance property is knocked down. It's this damage after a fire at 3534 Roan Street spread to two neighboring homes on Detroit's east side early Wednesday morning.
We knew something was going to happen. We just didn't know when.
Tamika Simpson says she rushed to the area to check on her family. Her sister arrived home and saw the flames from that vacant house shooting toward their 80-year-old father's home next door. Your dad was inside?
Yeah, sleep.
What was going through your mind?
I didn't even know whether he was alive when I got in there.
Amina Henson says she helped her father get out to safety. The fire from 3534 Roan damaged the neighbor's roof, siding, and busted a few windows. The family says the vacant house had been a problem on this block for years.
This house has been abandoned and burned since 2016.
You see, back in 2016, a weather-related fire at 3534 Roan killed two people. Neighbors say that vacant house was still trouble.
I really would appreciate if someone would come out here. We can't leave this like this.
We made some calls and learned the Detroit Land Bank Authority took over the property in 2019. Representatives with the city said the place was boarded up at the time, and it's been sitting on a demolition list that's out for bids.
We're grateful that no one was seriously injured in this event.
I spoke with Director LaJuan Counts from Detroit's Construction and Demolition Department Wednesday afternoon. She gave us an update about that burned-out vacant property.
Buildings and Safety has issued an emergency demo effort for this particular location, so we're going to move forward with that demo.
Simpson and her family say they're relieved.
It could have been another tragedy. Someone else could have lost their life.
3534 Roan will soon be gone. So as for the cause of that fire, several neighbors were speculating the place was firebombed. I did ask firefighters about what happened. They told me it's still under investigation right now.
Wow.
So that house, but it was on the demolition list for many years. So what's the city saying now about getting it down?
Well, so now that the demolition is being fast-tracked, I'm told it'll be knocked down within the next week. But, you know, there are similar properties across the city like this. Yeah. The director of construction and demolition told me crews are aggressively working to tackle that list.
And I know you'll be there within the next week to see if they get it done.
I sure
know
will.
you will.
In fact, they invited me out tomorrow.
All right, good job.
All right,
thanks, Damon.
We got some breaking news to get to right now. We have learned that leaders in Chesterfield Township have declared a local state of emergency. This in response to the heavy rains and flooding from last week. It opens the door for more and more resources to help in the recovery, help in the cleanup efforts. Leaders say the flooding has caused widespread damage across the area, forcing a lot of people out of their homes. We'll have more on the order and how you can get help at our website at clickondetroit.com.
We do continue to follow the aftermath of Idalia after it hit the western coast of Florida about 8 o'clock this morning as a Category 3 hurricane. Here was what it looked like during landfall near Keaton Beach, Florida. The National Hurricane Center said the storm generated catastrophic storm surge as well as damaging winds. Now, the storm has now weakened to a tropical storm as it heads through Georgia and the Carolinas.
Yeah, Wendy Woolfolk has more from Charleston, South Carolina, as residents there prepare for the worst.
Even though Idalia has weakened over land, emergency officials here in South Carolina are warning residents not to let their guard down yet. While people here in the Low Country are no strangers to flooding, businesses here in the downtown area putting down sandbags and even putting up plastic for a little bit of extra protection, with as much as an 8-foot storm surge predicted here during high tide later this evening. Local government offices and most businesses have closed early so employees don't have to drive through the incoming tropical storm force winds and rain throughout the evening. The city also offering free parking in garages so residents can get their vehicles out of harm's way. With another rain band picking up here again, this has been a fast-moving storm, but for the Carolina region, the worst is yet to come. Governor Henry McMaster reminding all residents to be prepared, but not to panic. That's the latest here in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm Wendy Woolfolk. Now back to you.
So many people affected by Idalia, as everyone also is bracing for the impact along that particular area.
Yeah. All right, Brian Sherman in for Kim today. And Brian, let's talk about these next few hours.
Yeah, the next few hours, Devin and Kimberly, are going to be not the best situation, as Exact Track 4D is showing that rain shield from North Carolina all the way back down through South Carolina and into northeastern portions of Georgia. Those outer bands also coming in to the South Carolina coastline, including Charleston. So in addition to the heavy rain and wind, maybe a few isolated tornadoes this evening, as the hurricane and tropical storm warnings for the Big Bend of Florida down through a good portion of Georgia are being canceled this evening, with that center of circulation of Idalia moving off to the north and east. As of the 5 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center, now tropical storm Idalia, maximum sustained winds at 70 miles an hour, gusting to hurricane force, 85 miles an hour, lifting off to the northeast at about 21 miles an hour. So as we go through tonight and into our Thursday, we will see a gradual weakening as this system moves off to the northeast and then east toward the Outer Banks of North Carolina by tomorrow afternoon, and then accelerating down toward Bermuda as we head into the holiday weekend before finally going out into the open Atlantic as we head into Labor Day. Here at home, we're ending the day with some sunshine outside on Tower Cam and a little bit of cloud cover. Definitely feeling like fall. 65 here in Detroit, 67 in Howell, 66 right now in Pontiac, and 65 working down into Monroe. Open the windows tonight. We're going to give the air conditioning a break. Temperatures dropping into the low 50s early tomorrow morning. Enjoy this because summer heat arrives heading into next week. We'll talk about how fast things are going to warm up. Your complete 4-1 forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Brian. Well, in her first ever What's Next address today, Governor Whitmer shared the state's plans for the coming months. And here's some of the things the governor is calling for, the things she wants to see get done. First, calling on lawmakers to pass a law that protects key provisions included in Obamacare. Governor also wants to establish a program that provides paid family and medical leave for Michiganders. Governor talked about several things in her address. To get a full breakdown, head to clickondetroit.com. Her address today came while a trial associated with her kidnapping plot continued into day number 6. The defense called for a mistrial. That was again thrown out by a judge. The defense also asked to re-interview the jury about its impartiality. That motion was also denied. We'll keep following it for you. Updates here on the air and on clickondetroit.com.
Local 4 has gotten a hold of some body camera video showing the arrest of Dearborn's fire chief for suspicion of drunk driving. Joseph Murray was taken into custody early yesterday morning after police say he was going 15 miles per hour over the speed limit and also swerving around the road on Telegraph. Video shows Murray refusing a breathalyzer test and also being taken into custody. Local 4 was told by police Murray was given a blood test at the police station. The results of that test still pending. Wayne County judge rules against parents trying to sue T-Mobile and Wyandotte schools over that 5G tower that's on top of an elementary school.
Cell tower right on top of Washington Elementary has been a cause for concern for a lot of parents there. Wyandotte's past superintendent, Dr. Catherine Cost, entered into a contract with T-Mobile to put the tower on the school. A judge initially ruled in favor of the parents, ordering T-Mobile not to turn the tower on while all this was worked out in court. But another judge ruled that the district's deal with T-Mobile is a legal one, and they have dismissed the lawsuit from the parents.
It is something many, if not all parents, have to deal with at some point. Childcare. It's a huge expense, and it's getting even bigger. According to the United Way's Alice report, for a family with 2 young children, childcare is the biggest expense, coming in at an average of $1,122 a month. Federal dollars dedicated to help make it more affordable runs out in just a month. So if that happens, recent data collected by the Century Foundation found that 57,000 Michigan kids would lose access to their current child care. Pamela Osborne live tonight with more on the impact this could have. Pamela, some worried parents out there.
Certainly, Karen, and a lot of parents who may not even realize that these changes could come very soon as September 30th. It was during the pandemic that everybody really realized how vital childcare actually is for working families. So the federal government put money into those programs. Those programs could come to an end and, as you said, impact more than 56,000 kids here in the state of Michigan alone.
This is my oldest, Serenity.
Shamir Moncrief is a single mom to a 9, 2, and 1-year-old.
Only one goes to school. So in order for me to work, and I'm a single parent, I have to go to work. So childcare is like my best friend.
She was a bit surprised to hear tens of thousands of Michigan kids and their families could lose access to childcare. That's because the pandemic-era relief money childcare centers have been getting will disappear September 30th.
There's already not enough child care providers.
Jeff Miles, Vice President of Community Impact for the United Way, says that will have a huge impact.
4,000 child care providers or their staff could lose their jobs, and we're going to lose about $150 million in wages.
If Congress doesn't act to renew those funds, these are the difficult decisions families will be forced to make.
How can you come to a job and say I can be there, and then you can't figure out this childcare situation and things are going on where you could lose it?
Families need to act now to understand their options.
If you live in Wayne County, part of your plan should include checking out connect4carekids.org. The United Way has made it simple to help determine your eligibility for free state-funded programs like Head Start or the Great Start Readiness Program.
They can do all that from their phone in English, Spanish, and Arabic. That information then, after they answer a few questions, is sent right to providers who reach out to complete the enrollment process.
And that mom that we spoke to used Connect4Care Kids and was able to find daycare for her children. She says it's very easy to use. This is certainly a complicated issue, made even more complicated by these changes that are coming here soon. And Karen, when you widen this out and take an even bigger look at the impact nationwide, we're talking about 3 million children who could be in danger of losing their child care. And then on top of that, another 70,000+ daycare centers that could close. So certainly a lot to pay attention to. We've put all of this information and a link to that website and those resources on our website. Click on Detroit.com.
Such a big expense, such a big worry, but appreciate those resources on Click On. We will make sure that parents check that out. Thank you, Pam.